Y'all make some noise for Haywood Turnipseed. And y'all make some noise for Anwars' wife.
Well, we're not Anwar's wife's friend.
I thought it was ex-wife, but when Anwar was... Baby mama also, when he was talking to the show, Anwar kept bringing like, yeah, I'm bringing my wife and her friend. I was like, you have so many divorce jokes. What actually is happening here? But see, I appreciate y'all coming out.
Yeah. Give it up for Anwar's wife's friend too.
Yeah.
She is in here. She is supporting. She's like, I'm gonna support both of y'all. We gonna do this. I got you, girl. Though. Fuck up, I got you. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I already know.
So, okay. Should we just do our entire set on Anwar's divorce?
Yes, we should. What the fuck happened during that pandemic? How the fuck did you get a baby and a fucking papers? I just want to know who served who. She was like, Anwar, you have got to go. You are funny. You are too funny for this house.
I think everyone's trying to get around the fact that he said his mom had 4 husbands. So,
she did.
Okay, let's. Which one is your favorite?
I'll never tell. No, my favorite. It was the one who I would see.
I was like, hopefully.
There you go. You get it.
Which one was your father?
My father's named Haywood, right? That was her second husband. So she actually had 5 husbands, but 4 after I was married. So she married a guy before her, my dad and her dad, and they got divorced. And then she married my dad, right? And then he did sell drugs, and he went to jail. And she was like, I can't do this. And oddly enough, she did marry a police officer after that. So, and then everything else after that is true. They didn't work out. She married a Muslim. We became Muslim, and then they didn't work out. And she married a Rastafarian, and here I am.
Nice.
I was like, don't let them fool ya. Allahu Akbar.
If your dad wants to marry a nice Christian lady, my mom is very single, but call that comedy.
He's like dead now, so don't.
Okay, wait. Oh, damn.
No, he's gone, right? He was a drug dealer, right?
Yeah.
In the 90s. Like, who the fuck was still selling crack in the 90s?
Yeah.
Like, and he went out like a G till he got shot too at 60. Like, who the fuck? Like, I'll tell you a story about my dad, right? Like, he took me to my first therapy session. It was called Narcotics Anonymous. I was 13 and he took me to an NA meeting with him. He was like, I just want to show you, what I've been going through. And I was like, nigga, I know. Like, I saw New Jack City.
My name is Haywood and my dad is a narcotic. I don't even know what the...
No, I would sit there and listen. And then they'd be like, you want some more coffee? And I'm like, I'm 13. Make it Mountain Dew. And I can make it a Mountain Dew.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, so is your last name Turnipseed?
Turnip. Just like
Turnip.
Like Turnip, Turnipsee. It's a good old-fashioned slave name. It really is.
Well, I was like, there's no way it's Turnipseed. So it has to be Turnipseed.
Not Turpin, because that's like something.
Okay, how did your dad and your mom meet?
Drugs.
Drugs? Okay, yeah. So was she... Yeah, what's the exact backstory? Because you kind of skirted that. You skirted around.
I didn't skirt it. Like he sold drugs. They make her. She also sold drugs.
Okay.
And they were selling it in Chicago at like in the 70s at the height of. Like my mother, she could tell some story. Like she sold drugs to the Delphonics. So she was a young woman selling drugs. My father was a man getting into selling drugs, and he was introduced to her. And then she was like, well, you can just push, and I can stay home. And it started off a pretty, well, I don't know how it started off. I just knew, like, for a while we had money. we were living in a high rise and shit. Like, there was a pool, like it was like this is the 70s, and we had like white, they looked like you. Like it was like white people, like who were like our neighbors and shit. And then all of a sudden we went to projects, and it was like moving on up. Or then we went from Jefferson's to Good Times. We did, because when when they broke up, it was like like you had the carpet. Like this is the 70s, like when they had carpet, like Florida, like wall to ceiling mirrors and shit, like all of that drug shit. It was Tupperware. You don't know what Tupperware is. This is sad. This is why the fucking Chinese are winning.
I'm just glad this is way less sexual than the last one.
Is it?
I don't watch gay porn, so I
don't know, but somebody asked me one time, Haywood, that's your name? Haywood, you blow me? I was like, what? I'm undecided. That's too much for this crowd.
Okay, so where does your dad's name Haywood come from?
So Haywood is actually an old English name, but my grandmother's uncle was named Haywood. So it just means hedge forest. Turnipseed is from my granddad is originally. Well, my granddad is from Alabama, and the Turnipseeds were a slaveholding family in Alabama. Actually, they imported, along with Negroes, greens. So like that's where my family comes from. And the wild thing about it was like there were other names on the plantation that could have been taken. And I remember asking my granddad like, why was that the one? He was like, because it's famous.
What were the other names available?
I don't even know. After that, it was just like, it's not famous. Only people I know is you. Thank you, somebody got it. Everybody. No, turnipseed is one of those. That's where it comes from. It's German. It means it's Rubsamen, which is rhubarb, which is a turnip. You know, turnip salespeople. They weren't salespeople though. They weren't salespeople. So it's a whole story on why I kept the name Turnipseed. Well, I mean, why would I get rid of it, right? Like I went to the mosque, had some friends, and they were like, you need to change your name. And I'm like, to what? Like something that I said I don't fucking know. So, because I had a conversation with a brother, he was like, you need to change your name to something, that's a slave name. Like, I was like, nigga, all names are slave names. What the fuck? That's too much. That's too much. That's too much. His name is Curtis.
That's my friend, that's my uncle.
He changed his name to Suleiman, and it was like, you just changed the name to a name that you think is what it could be, but as black people were taken from Western Africa, like Islam was already there, right? So Arabic was already there. So I could choose a name, but I don't know what tribe I'm originally. Obviously, I do now. But I say that to say, like, keeping the name Turnipseed in my mind was just like, hey, you don't own this, you didn't own us, we have this, let's take it.
So you say, okay, how did you? I guess what was your process like of finding your tribe or that whatever?
This is a website called Ancestry. So I had a what do you call it? You know, what do you call them? You know, you do one of those family trees. I had one of those projects, and then so you start looking into the name. And oddly enough, I had been told up until that time I had been told that it was Native American. And then it didn't even dawn on me that Turnipseed couldn't have been Native American because they didn't speak English. Like, what the fuck? Like, they would have called their name Turnip? No, it would have been something different in reference to where we were, right? So even when you translate it now, it becomes something different, but when you hear the language, it is what it is. So I say that to say, as I looked that up, and then my granddad, you know, started telling me a little bit more, aunts and uncles started telling me a little bit more. It was like, that's how you find out what that is. But I didn't really grow up with the turnip seeds because my parents were divorced. I grew up with my mom's side of the family, and it's a whole another story over there.
What are their names? What's their? Do you like it though?
Well, my mother became Muslim, so she changed her name, but everybody else is. My mother has two sets of families. Her father and mother had her when they were 16 and 17. So this is in 1940s, right? And then he moved to Hollywood to become a star. And he was in a movie, he was in Carmen Jones and stuff like that, and he was a backup to Harry Belafonte. I say that to say he did what most black men, he got a white woman.
Yeah, he did his grandma.
He got a trophy. He got him a trophy, and he brought her back to Indiana, and then, you know, so she has, her mother had 7 other children, and had, 7 other children with other people, and then she has 4 brothers and sisters from her dad's side and her stepmom's side. So it's a unique. So I have like, this is why, you know, I have the Jewish cousins. People are like, you really? I'm like, yeah. Because they were white to me, but it is, it is what it is. So those are the people I grew up with.
Yeah, I was going to touch on the Jewish subject. I couldn't find a way to go back to it. So I guess last we'll end it on religion. So you said you grew up Islam. You had experience to Judaism, Christianity, just from sitting here with me. So like, take me through, I guess, like your process of religion and where you are. What religion are you now?
Now, I mean, I'm a human now. I mean, that's it. That's the only thing I can relate to being every day, all day. So I'm saying that to say, if you look at what religion is, the root word of religion means just something that holds you down. Gravity is what pretty much, well, gravity and white supremacy. But they can both hold me down. They can hold you down. That white supremacy is like a motherfucker. Like, you want to get up? Wait, nigga. So I say that to say, so I grew up Muslim, going to a mosque, but my great-grandmother, who helped raise my mom, was Seventh-day Adventist. And we all had the same Sabbaths, or the same, Jumas, or the same. Basically, Friday into Saturday was the same time that we all could get together. But again, the Jewish cousins would come over, and they were cool because they would be like, mazel, and then we could eat, but that bread was fucking.
Was it good?
No, man, that bread was fucking, that shit was dry. I was like, I don't know how y'all survived. Like 40 years in the desert with this shit and no water. I don't know how y'all survived this shit. But, Islam and Judaism are cousins, essentially. You have Isaac and Ishmael, who are both children of Abraham, so they're all Abrahamic religions. And then Christianity comes in, but then the Sabbath is on, not the Sabbath, but then the soul day is on Sunday. So you have all of this happening in my area. And then also one of my aunts became Buddhist. And then we have a member of our family who was Baha'i. So a lot of different faiths were in my family. And I would hang out with all of these people and go to different services. And one of the things I took from that was just the universal thing that people call it like, I think I recently found out that I'm a minimalist because I minimize things to what they really are. And it's just like, do what's right, do what's right. And what does that mean to you, right? And if that means harming someone else, you have to ask yourself why. So this is me looking in at, 13 and being introspective and all of that shit. So as I grew up, I kind of carried that stuff with me. And I married a woman who's a Catholic.
Let's go, Catholic!
She's a black Catholic, so it's a whole, she's a black Catholic. She feels guilty for slavery, She's like, it's our fault, we're the children of Ham. I was like, nigga, we don't eat pork. See, that's for people who went to church, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, they know the purpose and all that shit. So when you get into religion, right? Religion is, when you start looking at it, what religion does is it's really about bringing you into this house and holding you down. It's about keeping you from realizing your true self. And if you realize that we are all avatars and we all live in this universe and that every bit of this universe is a creation and a recreation of itself, then at the end of the day, we are all children of the Most High, right? And I'm just trying to get high like that.
I'm gonna end it on that. That was absolutely fucking incredible. Guys, give it up for Haywood Turnipseed. That was deep. That was hilarious. I'm gonna bring up our host one last time, Anwar Fikri. That was great. Thank you, Micheal Scotton and Haywood Turnipseed, everybody. Oh, who the fuck thought we would get a fucking history lesson on religion?
Right.
Good Lord, that was amazing. Yo, everything he said we could put on fucking a background with a landscape with quotes on it on Instagram. We would all get so many followers. It's amazing. Speaking of Instagram, follow this podcast. Yo, where you from? On Instagram, get us up. We're going to be posting all of this. We're going to be posting clips. Again, give a round of applause for all the comments that were made. Thank you guys so much. Give a round of applause for yourselves for coming. Thank you guys so much. You guys, it's a weird format, right? But it works somehow. I don't know. I love it. I thank you guys again for coming out and just enjoying this with us. I mean, by the way, Haywood, I just want to let you know that you grew up as a black Muslim that wasn't Nation of Islam.
Right.
And my dad was like, well, I can't speak to you in Arabic. Let's go see Louis Farrakhan. That's what happened to us. Like, we were at the DC Armory, like, yes, yeah, eating bean pies and shit. They're like, brother, my light-skinned brother. I was like, yeah, I'm part of this. I understand. I'm like, yeah, they fucked us up in this. That's right, Louis. I get this.
Beef pie, bro.
That's all my brother had to contribute. One beef pie, bro. Listen. Anyways, again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys had a wonderful night. What did you guys think? All right? Good?